Alright, so we read Kift's journal. That's interesting, I suppose. Quite a long one it is. But let's have a look and see what other things there are to see, because there are some things. Let's find out some info on the cancel third game. I wonder where we can find that out. I'm not sure. Oh, I know. If I find Kia's page, I'll know. Let's bring that back up again. There we go. If I find Kia's page again, I'll know. Dankenstein, Dan Hand, characters. Here we go. Princess Kia, a soft-spoken mummy who has been dead inside her tomb for thousands of years, and enunciates every word she says carefully. She is blue in skin color and wears bandages. She knows embalming techniques and is grateful to Sir Dan for having rescued her from her eternal prison. There we go. There's an image of waifu there. So we already know what happens over the course of the game. Medieval Fate's Arrow. During their journey through time, Dan and Kia were separated. Oh boy, we got separated in time. You never want that to happen. With the help of the fairy queen Noreen, in case you're wondering, Noreen is this. Alright. I haven't read the comic, actually. Dan got to see Kia one last time in her tomb. Kia left behind a letter for Dan, where she detailed her fight against a warlock bent on summoning Anubis to the mortal world. She also left Dan a gift in the form of the Eye of Amun-Ra. It's basically this eye thing. I got a special eye. It's great. And then, of course, she left this here as well. There we go, some tapestry. There's Dan Hand. She remembers that. How could you forget Dan Hand? It's great. Oh dear, good shit. Very kawaii. But that's how Fate's Arrow went. Well, at least the comic, and I think that's canonical. I don't know, because it's very different from the cancelled third game. Let's see. Oh, PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Princess Kia appears as one of the unlockable minions as well. There you go. Let's see. She doesn't say very much, does she? Oh, there's a render of her as well. That's kind of cool. I don't know why she has that power glove, but okay. she's got the gauntlet for some reason. Here we go. Kia sarcophagus Medievil's Fate's Arrow features Dan's head, Dan Hand, and Iron Slugger and Galamir's shield motif. Oh yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? There's the head and there's the Iron Slugger. Oh dear, and an Ankh from which is like the relic from Crash Bandicoot. I'm sure that's just a coincidence though. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's got the Iron Slugger. She must have really remembered that one. Kia's age is given as 19 in Medieval 2's official website. Subtracting her age from the year of the Pharaoh's death gives her an approximate date of birth. Oh yeah, that works out. And there she is wearing her boxing, her red boxing briefs. That's great. She got boxing shorts on. PS All Stars at some point. It's largely forgotten. Probably not, I would say. Not really much I can do with that. I don't actually own the game, is the thing. Probably due in part to being overshadowed by a few other things and using Dante's shit design. Yeah, that too. Let's see if I can find the page on the third game. There is a page on it. Just don't know where it is, though. Maybe I'll just type it into a search engine, maybe. Where is the search bit? Oh, there it is. Search, there we go. There we go. Try finding that. There we go, the now cancelled Medieval 3. Medieval 3, sometimes stylized as Medieval the Third, is a hypothetical new video game entry into the Medieval series. It is unknown whether the game would be a sequel, prequel, or midquel to the existing games, or a reboot of the franchise. Artwork from Fate's Arrow in an unreleased Medieval 3 concept. So he's riding one of those underwater elephants from the first game. He's got a doggo friend. He's got a doggo friend. I mean, sure, why not? He's got his sword and he's just rampaging around. Very different story from what we got in Fate's Arrow, which was essentially a lot of time travel-y stuff, and Dan basically had to go back in time and make sure that his former self died in the battle instead of saving himself. Let's see. Game pitches. Over the years, there have been several attempts to produce an official third entry in the series. Fate's Arrow, a direct sequel to Medieval 2, and prequel to, as well as a prequel to Medieval, which would have been on the PS2, and there's also Game of Bones, a midquel between Medieval and Medieval 2. Let's see. There's fan-made attempts, Decay, One-Eyed Knight, and a GTA San Andreas mod as well. All of them cancelled, pretty much. Let's see. How did the story go, though? Oh, no. They got nothing here on the story. Why not? Fate's Arrow. Here we go. Oh, 2003, the cancelled one. Here we go. Concept for the third Medieval game pitched to Sony. Heavily modified version of the concept story was released 16 years later as the official Medieval Fate's Arrow comic, which we've just gone over. So he crashes to the Earth. Let's see. Goes through time with Kia. However, Kia is nowhere to be found. He soon realizes he's in the middle of the woodland hut, quickly confronted by a monstrous hound. Hound turns out to be his dog from his living days, Lupo. The living Sir Dan walks in looking for Lupo, but the hound decides to stay with the kinda skeletal version of his master. After throwing a rock at a bat hanging off a tree and missing, the living Dan leaves. Here we go. Oh, the Oracle reveals the timeline has been disrupted. Zarok has been joined by an evil Egyptian sorceress, Chianti. Oh no, Queen of the Withering Sun. Kia is played down like a goddamn fiddle, tricking him into rescuing her, stealing the time machine, and delivering her into the company of one figure from history whose evil ambitions mirror her own. By using an artifact known as the Anubis Stone, she will raise an army of undead. She'll ensure that living Sir Dan doesn't die so soon, and instead sticks around long enough to doom the Galamir militia, creating a new timeline where Zarok wins. Let's see. Travels to distant island to form an alliance with an eccentric genie. Who's that then? Al-Zalam? Oh, who would appear in the PSP remake. There we go. Yeah, they reused him for that, and I hate him. So yeah, he does get reused for Resurrection, I guess. Let's see. His magic can block Chianti's, blah, 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 etc. Let's see. It has Metal Gear Rising Raiden. Yeah? I guess that's okay, I suppose. Let's see. Makes a trip to Moloch Island where he saves the Molochs from a terrible beast, thus earning their allegiance and eventual worship. Oh, which would be in the sewer level. I guess that makes sense. He then travels to the Fairy Kingdom where he aids the fairies led by Griff. Who is Griff then? Is Griff the one that we know? No, Griff's another one. He's got a shaved head and everything. Struggles against the Hornets. Oh boy. And in Zarok's Island, Dan befriends the giant dwarves who help him... Giant dwarves, okay. Help him steal the Anubis Zone from Zarok. In the Silverwood, Dan helps the Shrubbites... Oh, the Silverwood! That was a cut level from the first game. Helps the Shrubbites rid themselves of dark Shrubbite curse and gains the assistance of the Woodland Witch. At the eve of the Battle of Galamir, Dan plants special enchanted arrows in Lord Kardok's tent before concocting a special body swap potion that enables him to switch bodies with cowardly Sir Dan, and thus to lead the Battle of Galamir charge himself. Dan sacrifices himself in the battle, and the timeline is restored. Oh, he gives, like, magic arrows to Lord Kardok. That's great. Many elements from Fate's Arrow, such as Al-Zalam and the Anubis Stone, oh, and the Shrubbites as well, were used in Resurrection, a reimagining of the first game in the series that was developed in its stead. The name of the mini-game in Medieval Resurrection is reference to Fate's Arrow, Arrow of Fate. So, originally, Kia was a bitch, basically. Fucking hell.
Silence, Wedge!
Oh, dear. But the official Fate's Arrow is, yeah, the comic one is a bit different. It's fairly similar, only Kia is not awful. We've already gone over that. But, yeah, some stuff happens, and I guess we can read that at a later time. But hey, let's look at some beta stuff. The time has come to look at some beta things.